Ed, back in the day, we used to have these advanced classes, and you had this analogy, this wedding ring analogy. You've got to share this story for the folks that's not heard this analogy, because I know they're going to be able to use it.
Okay, cool. So it's primarily what I would use it would be in a termite or a residential related story, right, or a situation to where we're trying to sell them some services. And I think oftentimes it comes down to folks not being familiar with how to make a purchase, right? And so I would always make a comparison. It might even go something like this. You know, Sonia, purchasing a termite service is probably more difficult for you, certainly, than it is for me to share with you our solution. You know, lots of things are going through your minds. You don't have a lot of practice at this, right? Probably the first time, as you mentioned earlier, you've ever dealt with termites. It's the first time you've ever had them in the house. So you're in a tough spot. What I try to convey to folks is that, you know, typically you've got a lot of experience. Most folks buy 3 to 5 homes in their lifetime. You said this is the 3rd home you've bought. You know, most Americans buy 10 to 15 cars in their lifetime. You know, so we're pretty good at buying homes and houses, but we're not really good. We haven't had much experience at buying a termite-related service, and that's the seat that you sit in now. And the craziest analogy I've ever had or ever come up with on this is to try to make it make some sense to you is that, you know, I compare, you know, certainly not the purchase of a termite service to choosing a spouse, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is that you really get one chance to make the right decision, that if you make the right decision will last you a lifetime. And I certainly think that makes some sense with this termite service, right? I don't want you to end up like 2 or 3 of the other customers that I've seen this month, where we've been the 3rd termite company out there. So typically we charge a little bit more to do it right the first time, and I think that just makes some sense. You know, luckily 34 years ago, I was able to make the right decision the first time that lasted a lifetime. And that's really what we're hoping for, not oversimplifying it, but, you know, you got one chance to make this right, you know, so I think it makes more sense to spend a little bit more money on the termite service so you make sure you get it right the first time. What do you think?
I love that analogy.
And then you jump into, you know, let me share my solution with you. So you get some sort of agreement. You tell them that they're in a tough spot. They understand it. And you figure out your own way to do it. And you know, if you've been divorced 3 or 4 or 5 times, right, you can't use that, but you might want to compare it to making a college decision for kids if they've got college-age kids, right? You know, it's pretty tough to make that college decision. You know, kids struggle with that. Families struggle with that. Your only hope is that they make the right decision the first time, so it doesn't cost them more money, right? You know, and luckily in that situation, we were 3 for 4. We had one of our kids that had to that made the wrong choice for her first year, and it cost her a bunch of money, right? The other 3, luckily, knock on wood, they made the right decision that lasted them a lifetime. So that's really just talking in analogies, I think makes a lot of sense. I don't think we do enough storytelling. Whatever your personal experience is, you know, get into the fact that, hey, we get it. You're pretty good at buying cars. You're pretty good at buying houses. This is something really unique. This is a unique purchase. It's not easy. It's tougher for you to buy it than it is for me to explain it to you. So I'm going to jump in, right? And that I think the more storytelling we do, the more customers relate to us and they buy. Because, you know, we got a great offer.